Critical Elements in Cooperative Learning, Part 5. In this series of videos, I'm exploring different aspects of cooperative learning. Previously, I've explored the model, team building, and introduced you to a number of structures. In the most recent set of tutorials, I've been exploring the 5 accepted critical elements of cooperative learning in physical education. I've already introduced you to positive interdependence, individual accountability, promotive face-to-face interaction, and small group and interpersonal skills, and explained how these infuse the model and your approach. I'm going to finish the elements today with group processing. Please remember, however, that while these videos are scripted, they are captured in one take with no editing, so maybe a little rough and ready. Group processing. This element is, I guess, the most non-physical aspect of all the elements. Truth be told, this was the element I always wanted to drop when I first started using cooperative learning. In fact, if you read my first couple of papers, you see that I did. I regret this now, because while group processing is the most non-physical, it is the time taken to consider where students are as a group and set their own targets, and is a key facet of future success. To me, group processing represents students' ability to process, i.e. reflect on how well they are functioning as a group and as individuals within that group. The notion of process implies a sequence of events that occur over time. Johnson & Johnson suggests that this might allow group members to describe actions that were helpful and those that were unhelpful, and make decisions about what sort of actions they want to encourage and dissuade group mates from taking going forwards. It's always about going forwards. This process means that the group's work receives regular feedback on what's helping them to maintain good relationships, or the reverse. Helps them to continue in their journey towards becoming cooperative. Remember, this isn't something that is learnt or achieved. Receive feedback on their participation, and it allows the group to celebrate their successes and find new ways to move forwards. Personally, I tend to ask 3 questions and position these as a sort of time machine. What happened? This is a past question. It is asking the group to discuss what happened, what went well, and where they might need to improve. So what? This is a present question. What does the group learn about themselves in this moment of reflection? Why are these insights important? If an insight isn't important, then drop it. Only reflect on the important stuff. Now what? This is a future question. What will you do now as a consequence of what you have deemed to be important? How will this impact on your future efforts and actions? Sue Sutherland has an interesting take on group processing, one borrowed from her work in Adventure Ed. It's called the Sunday afternoon drive. She argues that group processing isn't about a destination, but is an unhurried, non-specific mosey or saunter through the neighbourhood, like a Sunday afternoon drive. It doesn't matter where you go, or if you turn left or right, or don't turn at all. It doesn't matter if you reach a dead end, or come too close to the motorway. You just turn around and go another way. So you ask a different question. You follow a different path. The important thing is the time taken, through conversation, to iron out the problems and regain a sense of purpose, direction and togetherness. In summary, group process represents the chance to help students to be positively interdependent, individually accountable, engage in promotive face-to-face interactions, and develop the small group and interpersonal skills they need to cooperate. It's not about blame or name calling. It's not a chance to vent or moan. You need to have other spaces for students to voice their concerns and other processes to help them to manage conflict, at least in the early days. You need to watch out for the dominant voice and the marginalised voice. You might have an object that passes around the group, allowing only the holder to talk. You might have a chairperson who runs the meeting. You may have rules about what can be said, for example, star wish, i.e. 2 things the group starred at and 1 wish for the future. The important thing is you have dialogue. It may take time in the beginning, but experience tells me that early time costs lead to huge time gains later in the unit, term, semester or year, as the students resolve their own disputes and make their own plans for the future. That's it for now. I hope it was worth your time. For more content, please visit my blog at www.peprn.com. Thank you.